and then we take it to the select customers whose details we have submitted to our respective business managers. And for the next 2 weeks, we want to test release 7. We want to ensure that customers are able to properly use the backup feature, the find feature, and all the other enhancements that are there in 7. And we get adequate feedback so that we can make necessary changes and get enough insights before we finally roll out in December. Right. So, what I would request everyone is their utmost cooperation and help in the next 2 weeks. Let us try and use this 2 weeks to get as much insight and as much feedback we can from the market, which will help us roll out a much better product finally in December. Right. So, wishing everybody good luck. Thank you for joining. And now I would hand over to Praveen to take this forward and take us through the release 7 features. Praveen.
Thank you, Abhi, for setting the context. Good morning and welcome everyone once again. So yes, as Abhi mentioned, so this for the beta partners, and again we'll be rolling out 7.0 very soon, probably in December. So yes, today let's quickly go through some of the much needed and very powerful enhancements that is packed in Tally Prime release 7.0. So, what makes 7.0 special is firstly, we bring back the auto backup feature, and not just we bring back the feature, but again, it comes with much bigger enhancement where the flexibility it provides to the our customers is much greater, right? Where you have the flexibility of scheduling at your own convenience, and again, it's a cloud tally drive backup. And next, we'll move on to learn and explore more about the smart find feature that lets you search anything from any field in Tally Prime. And lastly, we'll also look at few of the quality of life improvements from the enhancements for a better user experience in release 7.0. So yes, let's quickly dive into our first prime feature, which is backup 2.0. So looking before we jump into backup 2.0, let's take a quick look at the history of how the auto backup evolved in Tally. So in early versions, we saw manual backup was again there, but then we also added the auto backup facility, which was a very integral part of Tally ERP 9. And moving on from the release 5.0, the auto backup was removed, and then we planned it for reintroduction in the future. So then meanwhile a lot of partners like you and many of the customers also find a lot of additional or alternatives. Like one of the prime example is a TDL, right? So we used to give TDL to our customers to take auto backup as part of the activations that we do. And many customers also found out that through their IT department they could also take a Windows backup of data. And then we also saw few of the scheduling and few batch files and so that the workarounds were found by customers as well as our partners. Moving on now, as and how we move to a much more advanced technologies, cloud, remote, and it all become very prime aspects of the businesses. So that is when instead of people taking customers taking backup on local system, that's when they started moving to taking backup on the Google Drives, let's say Gmail, Dropbox, and all the cloud storage options. So now, yes, now the customer doesn't have to go through all of this alternatives, workarounds. We straight away present to you Tally Prime's one of the best solution, which is simple. Of course, it is one of the core integral part of whatever we bring into the user experience, which is we keep things very powerful and very simple. Now, it not just fits any workflow, but also it also gives the flexibility to the users to choose the style that they need. We know business to business, the culture, the flow, the working aspects, everything changes. So yes, Tally Prime always brings that flexibility even in auto backup feature. Yes, the reliability is one of the very integral part of what we bring in every single time. So yes, auto backup is a simple, flexible, and a very reliable solution. And yes, it does bring in a multi-layered access control. So as we know, as and how the day is growing, as and how the time is passing, the security and the credibility of the business data is increasing substantially. So yes, protecting the business data has become one of the integral part, which is why we have added multi-layer security across, which we will explore very soon, right? It also handles quickly and completely with bandwidth and also storage efficiency. So we'll get to understand more how this has been embedded in the feature. So yes, let's quickly dive into understanding and exploring the auto backup 2.0. So yes, right now we all know manually how to take a one-time backup, right? But yes, as I mentioned earlier, it's not just a reintroduction of auto backup, but it's also a tally drive auto backup. So let's take a look how it works. So let's say I have a demo company opened here. I'll click on data at the top. Once I go to backup, right here I'll find a new option that is tally drive. So of course, it is quite secure, which is why we need to enter the Tally license .NET ID and password. So once I plug in the credentials, it will quickly take me to that. Yes, you have successfully enabled the Tally Drive services. So now you'll be able to take backup to Tally Drive. So I'll go to backup, and here in the backup data path, you can see I have selected the cloud storage, which is of Tally Drive. So it's not taking your backup locally. You have the option though to take the backup locally, as you can see here in your C drive, D drive, as usual. But additionally, now you will find in 7.0 Tally Drive, which is a cloud backup, is also present. Choose the companies that you would like to backup, and then you can also enable the password if you want to do protect your backups. So yes, I'll click on yes, and then it'll ask you to ensure that yes, you remember the password that you're going to provide for your backups. So once I make it yes, it'll ask me to provide the password for the backup, which only the limited users will know. And then you also have the option to recover the key if in case you forgot the password of this particular backup file. So, which is why you'll also have to plug in the email ID where you would like to receive or recover the password of your backup file. For instance, I'm going to just give as a Gmail email ID, and then I will accept it. So again, I'll have to log into my tally.net ID and choose it. So once I select, automatically the backup is taken. Parallelly, it is also encrypted with the password that you just gave, and also it will be taken into your cloud. I'll go to data here. I'll click on backup here again. I'll go to manage tally drive where I have the visibility of all the backups that I have taken to my tally drive. So I'll choose my net ID, and you can see here it gives you the complete data of what is the storage available, how much storage has been utilized, which license of yours has the backup taken. And here you can also see the size of it and what time and when the backup was triggered. So all of this information will be available right within Tally itself, where you can just click on data and view all of this informations. So you can also see the folder number as well here, which the data backup has been taken. But also if you compare the size of the files, you can see are huge changes, right? So wherein a local backup which you take, which used to be 157 MB, but the cloud backup is roughly around 20, 30 MB. So that's a great compression of data with again protecting all the necessary information as well. And also you'll get the complete notification on your email that the so and so company has been backed up, and there's a recover key, and this is the ID that has been used, and this is the company data. So yes, every single time you take a backup, you will get a notification right from Tally itself. So where you can see the information of your auto backup that is triggered. So at any point you forgot the password as well, we can recover it using the .NET ID that you have given for your backup. So yes, okay, fine. That was a fantastic feature. That yes, we took a backup once. It was in cloud drive, and we also have the security level where we can also protect it by giving a password and then recover email ID just in case our customers forget. Additionally, here, let's say, do customers of us have to do manually every single day? Good news, definitely we have gone another step wherein we have automated this complete user experience where the users can, as per their flexibility, convenience, can schedule automatic backups. Let's take a look at that. I'll go to, you can see here there are companies that is open, and here right now the time is somewhere around 2 o'clock and 1 minute. I'll click on backup. I'll go to schedule backup here. I'll choose the tally drive. Of course, we need it in the tally drive, the backup to be taken. And here I'll choose the companies which I would like to backup. And then here, since the current time is 2:01, so let me just schedule it for once, and let me just also plug in the time for the backup. Here you can choose the frequency if you want to do it once, daily, or weekly. You have the flexibility. You can choose as per your requirement. You can also schedule on a particular day of the week wherein you would like to trigger the auto backup feature. So let's say I'll choose here as monthly, and you can also specify the particular date where you can choose the day wherein the backup can be taken. So if you see, when it comes to scheduling, there's a lot of flexibility and option that has been given to the users. Whatever the day, whatever the timing that suits for them, they can simply configure that for their users. Let's say right now the time is 2:04, 2:03. So I'll schedule like within next 1 or 2 minutes, the backup should be taken, and let's witness how that takes place. So yes, I'll also make sure that the uh, data or the backup is password protected so that there's no unauthorized usage by any of our customers. So once I provide the login ID, so automatically you can see here the status currently it shows it's in progress, which means at this particular time on this particular date, the backup will be triggered as we have just scheduled the backup to be taken on such instructed time and date. So once I refresh here, as you can see, once the time has passed, once 2:05 or 2 o'clock 5 minutes has passed, immediately you can see the status turns into in progress to success, and it also gives you a message the backup has been completed successfully to tally drive and what is the size of the backup. So this is how beautifully the system has automated your backup feature where you just don't have to manually take backup to your cloud drive, but also you can simply take it and schedule it as per your convenience on set date, time, all of it. So let's say now I punch in another transaction here, right? I added one more transaction, and now the time has passed at 2:05. The backup has already been taken as scheduled. Now let me just go back to my backup and restore here. I'll schedule another backup subsequently, and I'll refresh here. So you can see here automatically the status again has gone back to in progress since we have just added another transaction. And now once I refresh the data, automatically you can see it says success again. So the backup has been triggered, and you can see Tally Drive doesn't take backup of your complete data multiple times whenever you trigger. It takes something we call as incremental backup, which means the first backup that you take will be of the 100% of your data, the complete data, and subsequently the next backup will be only of the transaction that you have entered post your first backup, right? So which definitely adds a lot of flexibility to saving the cloud drive space. And again, of course, for every scheduled backup, as you can see here, the recovery key, the password, the email ID, the company name, all of this will be part of it, which will be receiving over your email. So yes, now customers not just can manually take backup to cloud drive. Many of times we've come across where a customer has called or reached us out, right, telling that sir, my system has crashed, my computer is complete not turning on, but I need my tally data. But whenever we go to IT vendors, yes, the data is not recoverable. So now customer is in such a very difficult situation where he has lost complete business data, which is very crucial for him. right? So yes, with this, it's going to be a game changer for our customers, wherein their data is not just smoothly backing up automatically, but also it's taken back 100% securely in Tally Drive. Let's take a look at the report that Tally gives you to take a look, monitor, and action upon all the backups and scheduling that takes place. So right here, I'll go back to data and then click on backup and restore. I'll go back to schedule here. It shows me the current schedule that we have set and that is currently running. You can add multiple schedules if you prefer to. Many of you might have many of the customers might have been maintaining multiple companies, so Tally provides the flexibility for you to set different schedules for different companies as and now needed. For example, for the first company we set it on 25th October of 205. Now for this next company, which is KBCL Traders, I will schedule monthly. Every month on the 9th of the day, the backup has to be triggered. So yes, for different companies also, you can schedule backup as and how required. So next is I'll just enter on one of this KBCL backup. So at any point of time you feel okay, fine. So this schedule has worked for me as of now. But now since I'm going on a vacation or I've added few more accountants or team members, now I need to change the frequency of the schedule. So yes, at any given point, simply enter on the current schedule that you have set it, and then you can simply go and pause it, or you can resume it, or you can completely alter the schedule that you want. And of course, if you don't want to wait until the schedule will be triggered, you can immediately back up as right now immediately as well. The option is given on the right hand side, and the shortcut key is F6. In this fashion, for every single company data that the customer has, where multi-company is the part of his business routine, then he can choose to schedule different timelines and different timings as and how he pleases. And also, he can now alter by just simply entering at any given point to change the schedule of the backup as well. So, as I was earlier mentioning, we now have brought in something called incremental backup. This just changes the way the data space is used, right? We all know cloud storage comes, it's a very important storage and has to be managed very efficiently, right? So, which is where Tally has smartly implemented the incremental backup facility, wherein it makes the most of the available storage. Let me take you through that. So right here, I'll click on data. I'll go to backup and restore. I'll go to schedule backup. I'll choose the relevant company. And once that is selected, here I'll also mention, go to F12 configuration. I'll provide the method of backup. So right here, you're going to get an option, method of backup, wherein you can choose you want to take a full data backup every single time, like every if you take weekly backup every week, do you want the complete data to be backed up, or you want incremental backup, which is recommended, of course. So here you also can see the restorable versions, right? How many versions of Tally backup that you can restore. So let's focus mainly on incremental backup here. I'll just try to take a backup now. Let me just take you through that. I'll plug in the required credentials of my tally.net ID as well as the backup password and choose the email ID here. And then you can see here the backup time, date, everything appears in my schedule backup. I'll click on add another schedule. I'll go for the next company, that is KBCL. And right here, I'll go to F12 again. I'll choose the method of backup that I need to configure for this particular company. I'll specify the time as well. But here I'll choose full so that the full data will be backed up every single time the backup is triggered. And as usual, I'll provide the password as well. So if you observe here, for the first company, we have selected incremental backup as option, And for the second company, that is KBCL Traders, we have selected full backup, which means every single time the backup has to be taken completely. So this is the current time while I'm triggering the backup. So now let's go back to the schedule. So you can see both of the backup have been taken for both the companies as how we instructed here. Let me just let us go through the data size. You can see here for KBCL, the first backup was for of size 20.70 MB, and the second was of 396.77 KB, which means after first backup only the additional transaction or data input that has been done, that has been backed up. But for the second company, if you'll see, both the time, since we give full backup every single time the backup is triggered, the data size, you can see it's taking completely. So 38 MB is utilized, and once again the second backup on the next day, again it's 38 MB. So which means scheduling your backup with incremental is much more efficient and saves a lot of storage. Keeping as a full backup, every single time the backup is taken, it uses the complete data where the backup is taken, and it uses the complete storage, so it might exhaust your storage very quickly. So the best and efficient practice is keep a incremental backup, wherein the very first backup will be your whole business data, and then your next and subsequent backup will be the changes and the data that you've further added, right? For instance, the first backup, let's say it was 30 MB, where all of your business data has been backed up. And then after for the next 1 week, you recorded somewhere around 120 transactions. So the second backup will only be of those 120 transactions. It will not be of your complete business data. So this is what we refer to as incremental backup, which definitely plays a huge role in terms of saving space. So yes, we took a look at how the backup can be taken manually onto our Tally drive. We also took a look at how the backup can be scheduled for different companies at different time intervals. And also we took a look at how the two different options are given for the users to take backup fully or incrementally. So now let's take a look at how to restore these backups. So I'll go to data here. I'll go back to backup and restore. So right here, I'll go to restore option, and here I'll choose tally drive, of course. The restoration path I've mentioned, and here from tally drive, let us try to restore for the companies. Let's say it is KBCL Private Limited and KBCL Traders. I'll choose the company which I would like to backup. Once I select that, it shows password is encrypted or not. Of course, we have given the password for all of our backups, so definitely we have to plug in the password while we are restoring them as well. So here you can also choose the multiple backups that is there in your drive. You can choose which backup you want to restore of course. And firstly, it will download the data from Tally drive, and then it will try to restore into our local system. And before the final step, it will ask us the password to restore. So yes, the user must ensure that he remembers the password of the backup before restoring them. So we are trying to restore for both the companies, that is KBCL Private Limited and KBCL Traders here. So now we'll plug in the password for KBCL Traders as well before the restore completes. Yeah. So now you can see here we have completely restored from our Tally drive. This is the old company. So here, let's say I'll go to my statistics. You can see somewhere around for the KBCL Private Limited, somewhere around 7,260 transactions are available here. Now I'll go and select the company we just restored, KBCL Private Limited here. And once we go to the statistics, you can see it has completely restored. with 100% accuracy. So all the data has been securely and safely has been backed up, and there is no lag in between, and also there is no zero data loss in between your backup to Tally drive and also download to the local system and restoring the data. We can similarly verify for KBCL traders as well, which is the data locally available here, which has somewhere around 4,332 transactions. Let's switch to the data we have restored from our Tally drive. Let's verify there as well. So you can see here, there is zero data loss for the period. And yes, the entire process is very smooth, secure, flexible, and 100% safe. So yes, we just saw how Tally drive backup can be restored with 0% data loss. And again, it contains all of our business data securely and safely in the cloud storage. Next is, let's take a look at how the Tally drive portal looks and what are the information that allows us to view. So the users not just from Tally but also can log into our website where they can have a quick view as to the different backups that they have triggered from Tally. So of course we need the tally.net ID, password and credentials. So once I log into my portal, on the left hand side there's a new option which is right below the control center. You have Tally drive management. So once you click on Tally drive storage below the management, you'll get for which license, what is the total storage, how much you've used, how much is available. Right here, you'll see all the licensing information and the space or the storage information. And yes, of course, this particular auto backup and the storage is connected with the TSS. So not just from Tally, but also right from your Tally portal, you can also manage the backups that you have triggered, the schedule, time, date, and all of it. So we just saw how to do it in the website. Now I'll go back to my Tally drive within the product. And right here, you can also choose and see the same exact information. What is the space, the backup, the schedule that we have given, and for which license, which company, all of it. So this way you get the view not just in Tally but also in the portal where you can view, manage all of your backups, schedule backups. If you want to change, delete the schedule, add a new schedule, you can do all of it. So yes, one of the security you can see the concern that arises is in my company there are around 3 to 4, let's say, accountants. Can all of them have access to auto backup, or will all of them be taking backup so that the space, one is a space concern will be there, the other is the data backup, do they have access to restore, download those backup? Can I protect my company from falling these backups in wrong people's hands? So yes, we do bring in the security in multiple layers, not just giving your password to the backup but also at the user level as well. Let me take you through. Let's say I'll click on backup and restore right here. I'll go to schedule backup. I'll choose this particular company. So right here, I'll mention the frequency, time, and all of it. And then I'll mention the password as well, the recovery key, email address as well. So, and then I'll simply accept the screen. Finally, I'll enter the tally.net ID that is associated with my license. So once you enable this and continue, now here it asks you approve users who must have the access to Tally Drive. So now you as an admin have a complete access and authority to approve people who can have access to this email ID. So let's say I'll enter the Tally not data ID, password, and the email ID. I'll go back to the portal. So right here, again, I'll go back to my user management, manage users. So here, as you can see, there are multiple people Once you approve within the tally, you can see the details also gets updated in the portal where the authorized person can again enable what kind of operations and services that it needs to give access to. So I'll click yes. This particular user needs to have access to enabling Tally Drive and also restoring these services. You can simply enable them. So for each and every user, you can authorize from Tally and approve in the portal where you can give them the sufficient access whether they need the permissions of taking the backup or not. You can see here the data, the details appear here as well, who has been authorized for taking this backup. So in this way, if you have multiple users in your office, you can restrict each and every user who is allowed to take backups and manage and use these backups, or whoever need not have this access to the backups. So the next is defining user accessibilities. So we just saw how the user management can be done from Tally as well as approving them from the Tally portal as to who needs to access these auto backup and who need not, right? How to define these usabilities. So let's say I'll go back to my Tally portal right here and I'll choose the standard user. And here, permissions. As you can see here, once you give permission for somebody to access these backups, you also have multi-layered option where you can restrict them from doing certain actions or tasks. For example, here you can select who should be able to restore or download, whether if the client system is in education mode should be able to do it, whether license is mandatory in all the systems in a multi-user environment, right? So all of this further macro scenarios you can give the authorities and as well as authorization to the users. So let's say if the license is not there, let's say one of your user brings the laptop to the office, he's using Tally data and everything, but once he goes to home, back home, if he tries to restore the backup, definitely it will not be possible because there is no license available for him from his house. So this way you protect the data from falling into unauthorized access, where you get multi-layered security and accessibility for your users. So every single time you do want to have a real-time view of the Tally Drive storage, you can simply click on storage and refresh the data. So of course, you do have the flexibility to delete any of these backups that you don't want to have anymore to save the space. So right from within portal itself, you can schedule and maintain all of this accessibility information where the users will have the limited access depending upon it. As you can see here, you can also block the visibility of the data backups that have been available for the users. So yes, the visibility of your backup can also be blocked. You can also limit them from using in unauthorized situations wherein it's with license, without license. You can also ensure who is able to delete those backup. You can also provide these levels of authorization to the multiple users in the portal itself. So admin will have 100% control and he can choose to give different levels of access to different people. So right here, I'll go back to backup here. So once I take the backup here, I'll set the password and then I'll enter the user level login. So here you can see, since we have not given for everybody to take the backup authorization, right here you can see even if the user tries to take the backup, it says you're not authorized to take the backup. So especially in a multi-user environment, you can limit the people or the users who can take the backup and who need not take the backup or even download the backup or even restore with license and without license. So this is the level of security and the multi-layer that we enable so that the backup is not just password protected or it's accessible, but also who can access and also when they can access this data. So now we just saw the Tally auto backup or Tally drive backup, who can access it and what are the environment they can access it in, right? So what about the other actions that we provide? Like let's say whenever you're accessing Tally drive, there are other levels of feature that we embed right there. So let me just take you through that. I'll click on data. I'll go to backup and restore. I'll go to manage Tally drive. I'll enter the login credentials. So I'll choose the appropriate license here. So right here, I'll see the basic information of the Tyler.net user ID, the storage, all the backups that I've scheduled for each and every individual companies, the storage, all of it. You can see my TSS is going to, or my validity is going to expire on somewhere around 18th. So right here, you have the option to extend the storage and also refresh the storage if you want to just get the latest storage data. Right below, you have manage user rights as well, which we saw it can be done from the portal as well. If in case if you do forget the password of the backup, of course we can enable the recovery key right from here. So if you have enabled the password, only then the recovery key option comes in. If you have not enabled the password, of course you don't need the recovery key. And here you can choose to give the recovery key at any point. So basically, while you're taking the backup, you can provide the password and all. Or if you want to take the backup right now and you want to go at the later stage and provide the password to the existing backup, even that can be done, as we saw. So we'll understand more of how the communication happens through the mail and what are the templates that Tally uses and how the information is communicated to the customers through email and what are the data present in that email. So right now we are trying to download our backup file from the Tally Drive cloud to the local system. That is, we are trying to download to our desktop. All the three companies that is in our Tally Drive. So yes, so we just now have downloaded the all the three companies data right to our desktop itself, which you can see here. So yes, not just directly restoring from online, but also you can download the data to your local systems. And right here, you can also apply filter to search a specific backup of a specific company or the specific email ID that has been taken backup through. So in a multi-site environment, wherever there are multiple email IDs that are plugged in, you can easily filter out, okay, for example, for this email ID, what are the backups that exist? Next, as I was mentioning, let's take a look at through how the product and the email notification to the entire journey of this auto backup is received to the customer. The moment the customer enables the Tally Drive services, that is the Tally Drive cloud backup, immediately this is the first communication that he will be receiving, where Tally is going to congratulate him and welcome him on board for this fantastic, powerful feature where he can now take backup and start using the Tally Drive services. Next, whenever the user approves, right, for backup Tally.net ID user for taking the backup and gives the necessary permissions for the respective user, this is the communication that the user will be receiving. And then whenever the access is removed, right? So let's say there are three accountants in my company. All three of them have the access, but one of them have left the company. So I need to remove the access. So whenever you do the certain changes, you'll receive these similar type of communication there. And next, as we mentioned, every single time you try to take a backup, the password option is right there. You can take while during the backup, while scheduling the backup, or even post backup. So at any point of time, you provide the password and take the auto backup. Immediately, you're going to get this particular email that consists of which company, what is the serial number, and what is the account ID where the backup has triggered with password. And yes, whenever you try to download or restore was initiated for your company from Tally Drive, automatically you're going to get this email with the communication saying that this particular company or backup has been downloaded, and or the user has tried to restore this particular company from Tally Drive. So at every instance, any action that happens to the user or the backup, the user is literally going to get an email with all the visibility and transparency as to what is happening with the backups. And whenever somebody deletes the backup from the Tally Drive, this is the communication that the user is going to receive. So yes, there could be certain cases wherein the Tally Drive storage is completely full, and now the scheduled backup doesn't takes place. So yes, you can simply get these important communication through our notification bell icon right at the top. So it's going to give a similar kind of a message and error code saying that your Tally Drive has is 90% full. It's going to intimate you before itself when 90% of your storage consumed. It's going to intimate you with a notification, but even then the user ignores it. So next time when the backup tries to take place, it doesn't happen, and it's going to give you this particular uh, communication. So yes, not just in Tally, but also even in the Tally customer portal, he's going to get a complete overview as to the storage available, storage used, and is he low on storage? Does he want to extend the storage? Yes, it is possible to extend the storage as well. So all of this you can see from portal as well. So customer can now choose to delete the older backup, or extend the storage, or buy more storage. It's up to the customer to take a call. So, yes, the benefits are numerous, but just to highlight a few important ones, the cloud protection ensures that even if the system crashes, or let's say the customer failed to take the backup, or there were frequent power cuts where the data got damaged. So in all of these cases, cloud protection comes where your data is backed up with automated backup. It is taken into the cloud wherein the data is completely secure, reliable, and he can access it from any system and anywhere he is, right? And yes, with incremental backups, it's much more efficient and space and saves a lot of space in your cloud by optimizing the storage. And yes, you do get an instant alert as to uh, whenever the backups fail, whenever the backup is deleted, or whoever is trying to download the backup. So now, as a owner or as a admin, you have the complete visibility of who is accessing your backups, who is downloading them, or any such activity. Instantly you get the notification over your email. And yes, the flexibility to recover your data for any timeline historically and to any system through since it is on cloud, so that's a fantastic addition to the strength of maintaining the business data. So, what are the prerequisites for our customers to get on board of this? So, yes, the first is they must be on Tally Prime release 7.0 and above. And yes, active TSS is a must if customers do want to enjoy this fantastic facility. And yes, we need to have a administrator present so that he set up all of this to start the backend services as and when required. So yes, the option is completely up to the customer. He can continue to take a traditional on local on premise backups. He can also schedule them, but yes, we obviously recommend to have a Tally Drive backup because it's much more secure, much more safe, and he can access any given point from anywhere. Moving on to the next feature, that is the smart find. Find anything you have entered even if you don't remember it exactly. So, looking at the journey of find feature, you will find that since Tally ERP 9, we've tried to come to a place wherein the ob- customer can simply plug in whatever he remembers, and he'll be able to simply pull out or search or get the data that he's looking for. So that is where with Tally ERP 9 we brought in the filter and range filter. Many of you might already be aware of it. So moving on in Tally ERP 9, we also brought in the remove, restore last line, and then we brought in the go to feature also just for the user flexibility. He can search anything. Then we also brought in the feature where he can save, view, or personalize all of the reports as he wants. And then we brought in a report filter with replacing the value and range, wherein a basic filter, multi-level filter, right? So we just came to a situation wherein we need to give something to the users where they can simply plug in and they can get it, just like a Google search, as easy, as simple, and similarly flexible. So yes, that is where we introduced to you the find feature, which gets you the information across multiple fields in the same company in one single glance. So smart find helps you locate anything you might have the user might have entered in any of the fields in a voucher level, in a master level, right? So all of this Tally searches instantly and gives you the appropriate report. And yes, it matches intelligently. What I mean to say here is there could be words that are similar. For example, let's say Shafiq Trading, right? So I might have two different customers or vendors of mine, Shafiq Traders or Shafiq Computers IT, something like that. So this, even if the spelling is different, Shafiq SHAFIQ is one company, SHAFEEQ is another company. So even in these cases, Tally is smart and intelligent enough to pull out all those similarly matching data in your report. I'll take you through those as well. And yes, it gives you a complete visibility across all the companies in one single go. You can search anything and it gives you by searching all of the fields in Tally. Let's see how to find anything with a single keyword. So right at the top, you'll find the search or empty space where you can enter anything to search. So right here, let's say I'm going to enter one of the uh, TRN, that is the tax identification number. And right here, you can see immediately it searches and gives you to which of my party does this particular tin belong to. So you can see here in this particular customer master, the tin is available. Next is find with condition. Okay, fine. If you remember the customer, if remembers the keyword, he can just enter the keyword or a number, which what is he looking for. But let's say he might not entirely remember the appropriate wordings or the name or the master or any detail, right? In this case, how do we find with a condition? So right here at the top, I'll go to help. I'll go to settings right here, and I'll click on find. So I'll enable this option, show results when all words are present, and here I'll enter Bhagya Dell. So the moment I mention Bhagya Dell, so the tally reads automatically, okay, fine. Bhagya Dell is not just a customer name or something. It could be a combination of anything. So here you can see the transaction that has Bhagya, my party, and the item as Dell. So it could be a combination of wordings. So with a condition, which yes, you can see it searches instantly and gives you. Again, here I can also enter as Bhagya and a del, Bhagya, comma, del, or any of these combinations with the condition. But yes, Tally instantly reads and understands exactly what the user is trying to look for. Now, here we saw how to find with a condition. Now, let us see how to find with or without a condition as well. So, right here, I'll just simply go on to help again. I'll click on settings. I'll go to find option right here and show results when, as you can see here, all words are present. I'll change it to any word is present, right? I might plug in 3 to 4 words, but even if any of this word is present in it, please filter those ledgers, reports, anything, and throw the result at me. Yes. So here I'll type Bhagya Dell and enter. Here you can see it searches all of the transactions and masters and gives you the bifurcation 2 level. The first level is transactions at the top and masters at the bottom, and it also gives you the information as to where the information is present. It's in the transaction level, or it's in the ledger name, or it's in the stock item name. right? So right here you can see Tally smartly searches with condition, without condition, or with or combination of multiple conditions and wordings that the user might enter, since he might not most of the time recover exactly what he is looking for, or the entire words he might not exactly be remembering. So here, as I mentioned earlier, you can add comma, you can add multiple characters as well. Still, Tally is going to read it smartly and present it to you with what exactly could be a uh, things that you're looking for in the system. Next is a find within specific field. So as we just saw, the moment you enter Bhagya, it's automatically going to search the entire system, entire transaction, masters, all of it, and it's going to pull out the results. But what I want to only search, let's say warehouses, right? I want to search only the warehouses with this terminology, or I might want to search only the vehicle number with this terminology, or master with the terminology, right? Specific field or specific aspect of the system. So yes, even that you can easily do that. So let's say for instance here I'll go to this same exact search. Right here I'll say Mumbai, right? So it's of the location. So here it gives me searches the destination, there is a location, the warehouse name, there is Mumbai. Here I can simply type as a destination, search in all the transaction where the destination is Mumbai. So the moment you can search here with the condition that you can see that it gives you all the transaction where only the destination is Mumbai. And here you can also type it as go down. Okay, wherever the go down name is Mumbai, only search those. Here you can see even this level of instruction you can provide it to the system. It smartly analyzes exactly what you're trying to look for and filters those results and gives it to you right here. So you could be looking for something in narration that you might have entered, or ledger name you might have entered, or warehouse name, or vehicle number, any of the fields in the system. You can give these specific instruction to the system as well, and it instantly searches and gives out the results. So let's say here I'll search as ledger amount as well, 12,000. It gives you the list of all the ledgers where the ledger amount is 12,000. So this definitely adds a tremendous efficiency and saves a lot of time with the customers just simply looking for a transaction, looking for some specific in the business data, right? That he might not clearly remember whether it was in a voucher, whether it was in a master, and in which voucher it was, right? So in all of these cases, find helps him instantly get the result and simply move on with this task. So the efficiency and the easiness to get what is he looking for is tremendously faster and smartly enabled, wherein system understands exactly what the user is looking for. Even if it doesn't mention, okay, if it's a voucher amount, it's a master ledger amount, or it's opening balance, anything for that matter. Next is find within fields using multiple operators, right? So yes, many cases there could be instances where we want to see multiple info search. In this case, let's see how Tally helps the users. So let's say here I'm going to type ledger name Bhagya. I'm going to select here, and I'm going to give another additional specifics. Let's say item name as well as Samsung. So here I've instructed ledger name has to be Bhagya and the item name has to be Samsung. Filter out and give me all those transactions. The moment I enter, you can see there is only one transaction, and that's voucher number 8, wherein the ledger name is Bhagya and has the stock item name as Samsung. Right? So as you can see, whatever I'm searching, it's giving me instantly, right? So this is exactly what the intelligence is embedded in the system, wherein user can just simply search anything with a multiple combination of these things, and yet Tally is smart enough to give you the result instantly. Here I'm going to add commas or characters, apostrophes, and all of that. Still, the system, you can see it's reading all of the instructions that the user is trying to search. And as you can see here, the search is so accurate that none of the transactions are lost at any given point, right? Tally is completely able to filter exactly what the user has instructed easily, and is able to pull out the results, even if he's adding multiple characters or combination of words that might not be exactly accurate. And yes, Many of the cases are chartered accountants or partners who have multiple companies that have been loaded. What about in these cases? So yes, so let's say here I have one company loaded, that is National Enterprises HO. Let me just pull in another company, National Enterprises Delhi. So I have two companies opened right here. Let me just go and search here, Bhagya again. So you can see here it is showing Bhagya and it's pulling out the two transactions. It has a master called Bhagya Solutions and there are two transactions that are available here. And by clicking on the right hand side of the company, you can choose which company you want to search in for right from the within screen. So you can see in whichever company, whatever the data is there from the same screen, you can filter company wise as well. So now let's say, especially the chartered accountants who have multiple companies or those customers who have multiple branches or outlets in the same region that they are handling, in this case, searching becomes much faster. Many a case we have come across wherein the customer is confused whether I've recorded an item name or I've created a ledger in this company or the other company, right? So in all these cases, you can simply search from the find screen itself in which company, what are the details that are existing. Right from the result screen, he can switch between the companies. So right here, petty expenses, you can see for which company you can just immediately switch. You can see clearly the difference between the transactions and result between each company. And here it's also going to give you the complete info as to the masters, in what level it is available. Here you can also configure whether you want to filter it out for transaction level only or master level only, so that your search becomes much more refined. So yes, find definitely helps a lot in terms of different combinations which customer might just simply randomly plug in just to search. He might not accurately recall what is the data. So in all of these cases, find comes to help. So even in help itself, we can just straight away set, okay, most of my searches are in transactions. So let me just preset the configuration itself for transaction. So you can set it automatically. So whenever you search the plugins, it will only going to show you the transaction level. So yeah, even in help, you can preset the defaults that only show me transactions or only show me the masters, all of that. So now let's take a look at the global settings that we have embedded for this. So let's say I click on help and I go to settings right here. I'll click on find. So once I go here, you can see I can find within the current company or multiple company. I have the option to set it. Most of the time, the way you operate, you can set the presets here and show from, you want to search from master level only. If you're selecting most of the time master level, you can just straight away set it master here. Or if you want all, you can choose that. Show results when all words are there accurately or any word is present, you can straight away set it here. Include similar spellings, as I was mentioning with the example of Shafiq Traders, SHAFIQ and SHAFEEQ. Even in this case, include similar spellings. That is a smart feature which helps you identify similar wording results that might be pulled up. And if you do want to maintain the history of search, yes, it's more than up to 100 search history now Tally can maintain. So yes, coming to the security, let's see how the users can be restricted from accessing all of the info. So I can just choose the company, branch and HO is opened currently right here. I'll click on search here. I'll say let's say Delhi. The moment I enter, it's going to search entire system. It's going to provide, okay, in narration there is a word called Delhi. In the ledger name there is, in the state there is defined, right? You can see both for HO as well as branch. It's appearing for both. It's appearing in the same screen for both the companies. I can click on company level here. I can go to users and password. Let's say for this particular user, I want to restrict, right? So I will give the user roles and here I'll go to DO and right here I'll go for disallow the following feature, right? since we do not want him to access both head office as well as branch. So I'll select here full access, and right here I can select as find results, and I can save this particular configuration. So now let me just change the user. I'll go to Deepak, enter the password. So you can see here I have logged in as a user. We have restricted for the user that find option should not be coming. So once I enter or the user tries to search, we can see only in branch is able to search. So you can restrict each and every company wise so that the user will not be able to access all the companies. No results found. So yes, even in this search level also we have embedded the security wherein the user doesn't want to give him access to all the other companies which he is not working on, right? So especially wherein multiple branches or multiple customers data we are handling. So in this case, if you want to restrict the user from not accessing all of this data or search all of these aspects, we can simply restrict that as well. And yes, as I was mentioning, the user can definitely add a lot of characters into his search, right? So these are the operator used refined, key in plugins that you can use to search much more accurately. But again, it's still not required because the user can easily search any of it seamlessly. So next is in certain cases, let's say find may not be able to get the results, and it might give you this particular pop-up, right? Unable to get the results in one or more companies. If literally there is no results that is able to fetch from the business data, it will give you this. But again, you can try to troubleshoot it once and try to find it again. So what are the other enhancements that we have embedded into the latest version, right? Let's take a look. So now if you do have any native format of JSON for the data exchange between Tally as well as the JSON format. So yes, in release 7.0 onwards, you can use those JSON format for data exchange between Tally instances or Tally or any third party applications for that matter. And yes, we are going to continue supporting the XML format, of course. And yes, one of the key quality of life improvements that we bring in is the optimized performance, right? Whenever the customer is loading the company, right? So we have often experienced the fact that customers saying, why it's very slow, it's going into the loop, right? So yes, with release 7.0 onwards, the loading of the company is much more optimized for both Tally Prime as well as Tally Prime server. And not just the loading of the company, but even loading of your reports is completely optimized for the better performance in reports while printing, while exporting, or even while sharing as well. So yes, with that, I would like to invite Shailesh sir along with me, who's from HO, who's joined us for today. So yes, if you do have any questions, please do raise your hands, or you can simply put it in the chat box of Zoom control panel. We'll take them up.
Yeah, best thing would be to put it in the chat box, please,
Yes,
in
sir.
the Q&A. I'm already answering most of the questions.
Mr. Raghunathan has raised his hand, so yeah, please unmute yourself and please go.